Hello there everybody, and welcome back to Pokemon What? So in the last part, we battled and captured the legendary Cobalion. And now that we've dealt with the battle against him, we're now gonna battle and trying to catch the second of the Musketeer trio. Now the grass and fighting type Pokemon Virizion. Alright. Yeah, you freaking sliced that you freaking sliced that. But anyways, Virizion time. Now Virizion is also level 42, just like a Cobalion. And Virizion has the same moves as a Cobalion. That being Retaliate, Helping Hand, and Sacred Sword. But instead of Iron Head, Virizion gets a Giga Drain, which means it may take you some time for you to be able to fully focus on just capturing Virizion. Yeah, because Virizion may just in fact use that Giga Drain just so we can regain just so that he can try to regain its health back. Yeah, this is one of the main reasons why I wanted to give at least one of my Pokemon Flash. So I can at least try to prevent certain moves like a Giga Drain from working. Because, yeah, I definitely want to prevent Virizion constantly getting its health back. Now, while of course I'm trying to whittle down its health. Alright. Now, let me just see if I can paralyze you. Yeah, and again, yeah, just like with Cobalion, yeah, I don't get why Virizion and Australian may have to have a helping hand when you're actually finding it against them. God damn it! I was hoping with all those flashes that Giga Drain would not work. See? Yeah, now we essentially just got all of his health back. Well, let's just hope that I'm not here for too long, considering. Yeah, I definitely don't want to deal with those constant Giga Drains. If Virizion just so happens to get past all of the flashes that I've been doing, yeah. Now Virizion has used up 2, so, and I believe Giga Drain only has 5. Either has 5 or 10. So, like I said, I'm hoping this battle doesn't go on for too long, so that I don't have to put up with that. But also to make sure if it does get to use Giga Drain, I'm gonna send him my Emboar so I can make sure it doesn't gain that much HP back. Okay, now while the Time Ball didn't exactly work on Cobalion, let's see if it actually will work on Virizion this time. 2, 3. Oh yeah, bitches! First Pokeball, and it's the timer one. Virizion, the grass type Pokemon. Its head sprouts horns as sharp as blades. Using whirlwind-like movements, it confounds and swiftly cuts opponents. Well, I'm pretty sure that doesn't mean that literally, right? Because otherwise, there would be a lot of bloodshedding, you know, I'm just saying. And with that said, everyone, this right here will officially concludes all of the backtracking that I will be doing for Surf. Now you may be asking, but wait, since you call Cobalion and Virizion, what about Terrakion? Well, here's the thing about here's the thing about that one. Now, you're not going to be able to encounter Terrakion until almost at the end of the main game. Yeah, meaning that we're not going to be seeing it until much later. Yeah, but hopefully, but anyways, yeah, but we will worry about that for when we actually get to that. But anyways, now let us finally go through the next area that we're going to be going through in order for us to reach our next city where our next gym badge is located. As for now, try to first now go through Twist Mountain. Now this mountain, it does have a very big twist to it because, yeah, Twist Mountain, yeah, you're gonna be going all over this mountain just so you can try to reach just so you can try to reach, just so you can try to reach, Icera City. And if you recall when I said that we're gonna be encountering a lot more Bouldars in a certain place, well, Twist Mountain is that location of what I was talking about. And I am not talking about the wild Bouldars that you see. I'm more so talking about the trainers that we're gonna be finding on this mountain. Yeah, the majority of these trainers on this mountain, the majority of them are gonna have freaking from Bouldars. And yeah, which is kind of similar to how within almost every cave you would encounter that you would mostly encounter Geodudes and Gravelers, Geodudes and Gravelers in Kanto. Yeah, it's kind of similar to that. But however, these hikers don't utilize bats either. Bats themselves. Now, yeah, they will also, of course, utilize, your fighting types. Yeah, that being the girders. Yeah, just like in Kanto, yeah, they will sometimes, some of the hikers will utilize Machops too. Yeah, so that is essentially the majority of the Pokemon that you're probably going to be seeing all throughout your hike through a Twist Mountain. Yeah. But anyways, everyone, now let's make sure that my team's all good. Okay, everyone. Now, before we actually go for that, I'm actually gonna be... Yeah, I need to heal up first. Yeah, I need to make sure that our team's all fully centered, ready to go. Okay, there we go. Okay, everyone. Now, before we really start going for this mountain, look who's here as well. Oh, Ditto. Yeah, that is my name. Again, Sharon, you already know who it is. What a surprise! Seeing you here while I was inspecting her Twist Mountain. The two of you seem a bit more rugged than the last time I saw you. Really? A little bit anyway. Is that so? I guess. By the by, should you folks seen that Team Plasma crowd lately? Not ever since friggin' when we last encountered them with you. After all the trouble? Well, actually, we did encounter Team Plasma during our adventures through a Chargestone cave. So that was essentially the last time we really saw them. But as for N, the last time we saw him was definitely after our gym battle against Skyla. But that's really the last time we saw them. Squirts like the two of you should just enjoy traveling with your Pokemon. I guess so. Twist Mountain's a fine place to explore. You'll have some fun if you just leave this here path. Well, better yet, just see it yourself. Instead of listening to me, Yammer. Yeah, we better not listen to you, Yammer. Be seeing sprouts. Feel free to train yourselves on my mountain, for as long as you like. Well, we are gonna be here a while, just not for too long. I thought he was going to get us involved in all that bother again. So I was bracing myself before I knew it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Sharon was still bracing it. I'm going in first. But I'll be seeing you. Yeah, you definitely will be. But anyways, now as you'll see here, yeah, this mountain actually does have an outside to it as well. Yeah, and this is what I was talking about when it comes to Twist Mountain. You're definitely gonna be going all around the mountain. Yeah, especially from the inside, but also on the outside parts as well. Just so you can try to reach the very bottom off the mountain, where we're gonna be going to. So let's just say we may be here for a long while. Yeah, let's say we may be here for a long while. But anyways, everyone. Anyways, everyone. Now as for the Pokemon that you can actually encounter on this mountain. Yeah, now like I said before, you can still also encounter Bulldars in the wild here too. And there's also Woolbats for you to get here too. But now, instead of Timbers, we now get from wild Girders now. And this is also another location where you can try to get a Cupchew. However, unlike Route 7, where you could only encounter Cupchews during the winter, you can actually encounter Cupchews no matter of the season. It's just that if you try to find Cupchews in the other seasons, Cupchews are a lot more harder to find. So if you want a much more easier time trying to find Cupchew, yeah, definitely do so during the winter. And speaking of ice types, there is actually another ice type Pokemon that you can actually encounter here too. And that Pokemon's name is Cryogonal. Now, however, unlike Cupchew, Cryogonal is a lot more harder to find than Cupchew. Yeah, and even during its own season, where you would think it would be a lot more simpler for you to be able to get a Cryogonal. Yeah. Which is why I'm not gonna bite my tongue to be able to. Which is why I'm obviously not gonna spend too long just to find one of these. Because obviously I don't want to be here forever just so I can actually find one. But anyways, everyone, now Cryogonal. Yeah, that is definitely a Pokemon that not a lot of people don't consider utilizing all that much. Is because, well, now while Cryogonal may have that speed, and he also does have some good special defenses. Just not so much when it comes to its regular defense. Yeah, that and if Cryogonal just so happens to get outsped by another Pokemon entirely. Yeah. But if your Cryogonal just so happens to be fast enough and you make sure that your opponent does not use any physical attacks against it, then you could definitely utilize Cryogonal quite well, actually. Alright, now you. Oh, here we go. Now we get the evolution of Vanillish. Vanillish! Yeah, as you can see, Vanillish just grows up into a much more bigger ice cream. He essentially just becomes a much more bigger, ice cream cone. Now, and speaking of Vanillish, I guess I should say, one funny thing that I actually did, one scene in the anime that I did find pretty funny, actually, was during the Mighty Excel Guard episode. The same episode where we first met Charles, in the anime. Or just see how, or as I may have said already, he's also known as the Mighty Excel Guard. And in that episode, he was faced up against a villain called Iogonal Man, and then you would think he would send out a Iogonal, but instead he just sends out a Vanillish. And then after Iogonal Man gets defeated, Charles asks him why would a Cryogonal Man would utilize a Vanillish, and Cryogonal Man responds that even though he really wanted one, he was just too weak to get one. Although it kind of does make sense, considering, as I said, Cryogonals aren't exactly, during Unova, Cryogonals were not that easy to find. But definitely nowadays, Cryogonals are definitely much more easier to get. Yeah, they are definitely a lot more easier to get nowadays. It's too bad that Cryogonal was not introduced until after the Gen 5 anime, because otherwise, he would not have any excuse whatsoever for him not having a Cryogonal of his own. But anyways, everyone, now see here. Now we have, if you did not go through, Wellspring Cave, with Surf, then, this right here would be your, this right here, what would have been our actual first appearance of Fro. So, meaning that, you don't really have to bother with going through Wellspring Cave. You really don't have to go through the rest of Wellspring Cave, really. Although, if you still want to get the TMs that you saw me get, inside that place, then you can still do that. But I'm just saying is that if you did not encounter Fro already, then this would have been our very first one. But anyways, now, and I guess since I feel like I spent more than enough time already, now once we are done with this battle, and which we just did, and our Amber is now level 39, and a very nice +4 for HP. Very nice, +3 for +3 for attack, and a very decent +2 for defense and special attack. Excuse me. Now, as I was saying, I feel like since I've done more than enough, I feel like I'll try to spend my time. I'll try to spend the rest of my time for this video Just so I can try to find, both Cupchew and a Cryogonal. Although, like I said, it is going to be the toss-up, considering... Yeah, I'm not gonna find them, considering that we are not in winter, so... Although, like I said, no matter the season, Cryogonal is... Cryogonal is very difficult to find. So, yeah, like I said, I may be here just a little bit while. And I actually did not want to encounter Drover this time. Yeah, I was actually hoping for one of the items, and not an actual drill bird this time. But whatever. Okay, let's see. Okay, now okay, so this is Boldor. Okay, so that's Boldor. Okay, so that's Boldor number 2. Okay, so one more Boldor and we're done. Okay, that is if we already encounter another Woobat and another Girder, that is. Oh, never mind. Yeah, there's our third Boldor. Yeah, like I said, Boldors are very common on this mountain. Yeah. And trust me, you're gonna see even more of them as we battle even more of these trainers that we're gonna find within this mountain. But anyways, that's everyone. That should be all I'm gonna do for this part. And so, to the next part, I'll see you guys next time.